After Caitlin Clark's injury, ticket prices have gone down 75%, which we knew would happen because if Caitlin's not there, we don't care.
Obviously, we've seen that Caitlin Clark is injured, so the get-in price for the Sky versus Fever game on June 7th was $86, literally 48 hours ago. Now it's down to $25 after it was announced that Caitlin Clark was injured. So this is a 71% drop in ticket prices just because of Caitlin Clark's injury alone.
Angel Reese just stepped into an arena so empty you could hear a popcorn kernel hit the floor. Echo. No Caitlin Clark? No crowd, no energy, and definitely no spotlight. What followed was a full-on Reese meltdown, louder than the fans who weren't there. It had all the chaos of a Real Housewives reunion, minus the wine glass. The moment it hit her that she wasn't the headliner anymore, the vibes shifted fast. Silent stands, cold stares, and a queen without her court. This wasn't a basketball game. It was a reality check wrapped in hardwood and harsh lighting. And trust us, you'll want to see this.
And unfortunately, news broke that Caitlin Clark unfortunately has sustained a quad strain injury from the sound of it and is out for, it sounds like, at least 2 weeks. Justin, did you have some more info on that?
Yeah, 2 weeks that she's out with a quad strain injury. The Fever head coach, Stephanie White, this is a quote from her talking about this. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is a competitor and wants to play. Obviously, everyone wants to watch her play, but for me, it's about making sure we address this in a way that doesn't affect her long term.
Sounds totally reasonable. I think obviously she's instrumental to what that team does. She's very
Angel Reese walked into that near-under arena with the energy of a superstar, ready to headline Madison Square Garden. But the vibe was more middle school scrimmage than sold-out show. No Caitlin Clark, no crowd, no hype, just silence, missed layups, and the lonely squeak of sneakers on hardwood. Somewhere in the corner, a bored security guard looked more interested in his snack than the scoreboard. Every missed shot echoed like a cry for help. Clank! Another one off the rim! At this point, even the basket looked like it had seen enough. The only thing performing that night was the echo.
Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. I was watching the WNBA. There was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can hoop. I will say, Caitlin Clark, your ass need a new team. The people on your team some trash. And I know you can't even tell them that they're trash, so I might need to talk to your coach. I was watching the last 4 minutes of the game. I know y'all niggas ain't watch it, so I'm gonna explain it to y'all. Caitlin Clark had like 6 open passes to their teammates. Wide open layups. They missed every single layup. Them niggas lost the game. And for a game, Caitlin Clark had to take a 99% contested 3 because she knows she can't rely on them sorry ass niggas, so she had to shoot herself. Caitlin Clark, we gonna need to find you another team. I would say pairing you with Angel Reese would be some cinema, but if your teammates is breaking like that, your ass definitely can't be with Angel Reese. We need to pair you up with like Asia Wilson. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
It's getting rough out here for the self-proclaimed Bayou Barbie. Marketed as the next face of the league, Angel Reese has lately looked more like the highlight reel's blooper section. And spare us the haters gonna hate speeches. This isn't about drama, it's about production. Fans aren't shelling out serious money for courtside seats to watch someone shoot 2 for 17 and flex like they just ended world hunger. The swagger's loud, but the stat sheet? Whisper quiet. At some point, the hype has to meet the hoop. And right now, the gap between branding and buckets is getting impossible to ignore.
How do you feel about just her impact on the game, and specifically WNBA, and then their future game that they have?
With Caitlin Clark not being there for this game, it is obvious that people were not going to want to see the game without her, because it's the camaraderie. It's almost like seeing Bird against the Lakers without Magic, or Magic against Boston without Bird.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here getting double-teamed, shoved, hacked, tripped, and borderline mugged. Someone check if her wallet's still in her locker. And the refs? Not a blink. She could get body slammed mid-jumper and they'd probably call her for flinching. It's like watching a basketball version of Survivor, only the immunity idol is a working whistle. At this point, Clark isn't playing hoops. She's starring in the Hunger Games WNBA arena. And every time she hits the floor, you half expect a cannon to sound off. It's gritty, it's wild, and the officiating is missing like it's on vacation.
it's not the time to hit the panic button, but it's time to feel concerned about the Indiana Fever. They are horrible without Caitlin Clark. They look awful. Caitlin Clark is literally the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. She makes everybody around her better. Like, Lexi Hull is literally Steve Kerr. Sophie Cunningham may be John Paxson. Aaliyah Boston might be Horace Grant. I'm dead serious, man. This team is not good without her. Kelsey Mitchell.
Whenever Caitlin touches the ball, the crowd comes alive like it's the second coming of Steph Curry and Diana Taurasi's secret love child. Fans pack stadiums not for the league or the logo, but for Clark. She's the engine driving the excitement. The highlight reel with a three-point shot as precise as a laser and court vision sharper than your grandma's cataract surgery. Yet the league's response seems to be to sideline her, choosing to ignore her presence altogether. The result? The arena empties faster than a dad's wallet at a Taylor Swift concert. Angel Reese can boast about being that girl, but the numbers tell a different story. People are tuning in for Clark. They're buying tickets because of Clark. They're learning what a pick and rule is just to keep up with her. Even Reese's supporters can shout into the void, but the truth remains. Clark is the star capturing the fans' attention and redefining the game. Ignoring her only fuels her rise and the excitement around her.
Really dig in deep. This is an athlete who has 5 million followers on social media. 5 million. And yet, only 300,000 people watch the game against Brazil. 300,000. Comparatively, the player you hate, the player you think is overrated, the player that you say is being followed by a MAGA cult and followed by a bunch of her team against Brazil drew 1.3 million viewers on television for a preseason game that they won by 64 points.
The league had a golden goose, but instead of nurturing her talent, they chose to mistreat it. Caitlin is getting hammered every time she touches the ball, and referees seem to be playing blind, deaf, and completely uninterested. It's like they're confusing her with a tackling dummy. She gets knocked to the floor, and their response is basically, well, she's tall. What's next? Charging her with a foul for simply being unreasonably talented? Meanwhile, the double standard is deafening. Reese can hack at opponents like she's splitting firewood, and she's praised for her passion. But when Clark shows emotion, suddenly she's too competitive, too fiery, or not a team player. Please, if Caitlin Clark blinked too hard at a ref, she'd likely get a technical foul and a lecture about sportsmanship. The fans aren't blind. They see it. That's why they check the schedule and only show up when 22's name is on the roster. They're not interested in watching missed layups and a technical for trash talk in the second quarter. They want magic range, drama, and jaw-dropping dimes. Not a 2-hour brickfest followed by a post-game tweet about how no one believed in her. Reese may have the sass and swagger, but Caitlin has the skill and the receipts. You can't fake court vision, and you can't buy your way into franchise status. This isn't TikTok, it's pro basketball. If you can't finish at the rim, maybe hold back on the celebrations.
My God. Angel Reese went on a tirade the other day, talking about how many people are now tuning in to watch women's basketball, not just because of Caitlin Clark, but because of Angel Reese as well. Saying a lot of women have done so much for the sport, but specifically, people are watching because of me too. That's what Angel Reese said. Folks, in last video we were talking about Kennedy Carter. It was her shot. She had a shot tonight. She could have captivated whatever 50, 60, 70, maybe 100,000 people are watching that game. She could have stole the attention span of that All of Edens.
At this point, the rim's more traumatized than the defenders, and no, this isn't just about Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. It's about a league shooting itself in the foot while wondering why it's limping. The WNBA keeps saying it wants to grow the game. Angel Reese strutted onto the court like it was a championship parade, but with Clark out, the energy dropped to zero. No crowd, no fire, no pulse. And while Reese was flexing, the only thing getting any action was the echo off missed shots. Yet the league remains clueless, blaming society, misogyny, or maybe a bad horoscope for their lack of momentum. Meanwhile, the real problem is on the court. Elbows flying, bodies hitting the floor, and defense that looks more like wrestling than basketball. Players like Reese, Brittany Griner, and Dejounte Carrington are turning WNBA games into full compact chaos. The league calls it passion. Fans call it unwatchable. You can't build a league off hard fouls and harder excuses. People want basketball, not brawls. And right now, the WNBA feels more like a fight night than a showcase.
If you guys are taking a look at your screen, you're seeing a lot of empty seats, but folks, I don't want you to be alarmed. These are not empty seats. These are people actually dressed up as empty seats. That whole top row where you see 2 people in a section, 3 people in a section, nobody in a section, even in the middle row, you see it empty. I mean, it's just empty there. Where are all these people that Angel Reese are talking about? Where are all these people that Angel Reese is saying are coming to watch women's basketball? More specifically, because of her.
There's a thin line between fierce competition and reckless aggression, and some players have downright crossed it, doing backflips over that line, setting it on fire, and posting the chaos on Instagram with a caption like, "Come at me." It's as if they believe physical violence somehow equals good basketball, but that's not the case. Angel Reese, for instance, roams the court with the energy of someone just cut off in traffic. She's constantly flexing after fouling an opponent, giving mean mugs like she's auditioning for a prison drama, and trash-talking as if it's her only stat that counts. There's a difference between confidence and whatever this is. Some strange mix of arrogance, bitterness, and delusion. And it's not just for show either. These aren't harmless mind games. She swings, shoves, and hacks, with the goal of sending someone to urgent care, not simply keeping them off the scoreboard. Then there's Brittany Griner. Since returning from her international stint, she's been welcomed back like a hero. And while everyone's glad she's out of Russia, her style of play has become more about brute force than finesse. She elbows opponents into next week, moves around the court like Godzilla in a headband, and dares anyone to challenge her authority in the paint. The league loves to parade her as a symbol of resilience, but honestly, watching her play sometimes feels like witnessing a WWE match that forgot to end in a pin. This violent approach undermines the sport and distracts from the skill and finesse that make basketball so exciting.
Carolina Fever showed up and showed out in its blowout win over the Chicago Sky. The game was filled with a bunch of drama. There was a lot of tension between Angel and Caitlin, and I'm here to tell you, Angel did speak with reporters immediately after the game. Caitlin Clark captured a triple-double, and with all that being said, roll the footage.
How did you feel like you guys did in those 3 areas?
Yeah, I don't think we did them at the best that we could. Obviously, first game, we got to look back at the film and do things better. I think we definitely had good spurts where we could see that we could definitely get back and definitely rebound and definitely play in transition. So I think we'll just go back to the draw.
And DJ Carrington? She's got the subtlety of a wrecking ball. Her defensive approach seems to be cause chaos and hope the refs turn a blind eye. There's no finesse or artistry to her defense, just relentless aggression. And don't mistake it for toughness or heart. It's about intimidation. Cheap shots, hard fouls, and the occasional body slam disguised as a box out. She's not really trying to stop her opponent. She's trying to hurt them. Surprisingly, that seems to be the new standard in the league. But let's address the elephant in the gym, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin steps onto the court, smiling calm, and then effortlessly drains a 30-footer as if she's ordering a coffee. There's no drama, no scowling, no flexing, just pure skill. Precision, court vision, a sense of fun that fans genuinely enjoy watching. She's not throwing elbows or jawing, she's dishing out dime. Her game is slick, smooth, and creative, bringing a Steph Curry style of play to a league still obsessed with Charles Oakley-level roughness. And what does she get for her style? Mugged, body-checked, blindsided, hip-tossed, and smacked in the face, all while the refs act like she's invisible. Every time she hits the deck, the whistle stays in the pocket, as if it owes them money. Opponents throw everything but the kitchen sink at her in transition, yet the officials just stare blankly, waiting for halftime snacks. Honestly, you'd have better protection walking through a haunted house with a blindfold on. The game deserves better. More respect for skill, less for chaos.
I might have to repeat it like 50 more times because y'all suck. Y'all talk a real big game. Y'all talk a real big game. Y'all tell us just how amazing Angel Reese is. Y'all tell us how y'all ride or die with Angel Reese. And you know what? This ain't on Angel Reese. This isn't even about Angel Reese. It's about y'all. You suck. All of y'all suck. Ellis.
The inconsistency in officiating is not just embarrassing, it's outright dangerous. Caitlin Clark endures hits that would warrant a flagrant 2 in the NBA, yet she's expected to get up and keep playing as if nothing happened. No calls, no consequences. And if she reacts with frustration or so much as flinches, the double standard is glaring and undeniable. But the bigger issue isn't just the bias, it's that the league appears to be standing by and doing nothing about it. The WNBA claims it's striving for growth, respect, and recognition alongside the NBA, but that's hard to take seriously when officials overlook obvious infractions and league leadership turns a blind eye, pretending this chaos is somehow good for the game. It's not. It's poor basketball. And more critically, it's boring. Fans crave talent, finesse, and compelling storytelling. What they don't want is to watch a glorified slap fight in sneakers. Nobody tunes in to see players get jumped for trying to play the game well. They don't want to watch slow-mo hacks masked as hard fouls while announcers pretend it's just part of the game. This approach isn't inspiring or empowering, it's lazy, dangerous, and it's pushing away the very audience the league needs to sustain itself. The sport deserves better. Fans deserve better. It's time for the league to prioritize skill, fairness, and integrity over chaos and reckless behavior.
Is how much this continues. Is there going to be a fall off, weeks to come? Is there going to be a fall off in the viewers weeks to come? And if it continues to make that difference in the sales and in the output of what everything the brand is doing, then it's going to raise another situation to where people got to put way more respect on Caitlin Clark's name.
What makes this even more absurd is that Caitlin Clark isn't the one stirring up trouble. She's not calling out opponents, she's not trash talking or throwing tantrums. She's simply playing basketball, playing hoop in the in-between. Yet for that, she's clobbered, blamed, and scapegoated all at once. Fans say she's too talented, players claim she's too hyped, and commentators bend over backward trying to justify why the league's most visible star is somehow a problem. Spoiler, she's not. She's actually part of the solution. If anything, she's helping save this league from fading into obscurity. Imagine a WNBA, where skill mattered more than swagger, where you didn't have to risk a concussion just to get an open shot, where referees didn't need a guide dog and binoculars to call a foul, where the league protected its top players instead of penalizing them for making the game beautiful. That's the kind of league people would pay to watch. That's the league with potential to grow. And that's the platform Caitlin Clark could build. It's like having a gourmet chef in the kitchen and choosing microwave nachos instead. Eventually, someone in charge needs to realize that true greatness, joy, and talent draw crowds, not thuggery.
Indiana Fever ticket prices are plummeting. Since Caitlin Clark's injury and minimum 2-week absence were announced on Monday, fans are second-guessing how much they're willing to pay to go to a game. Even the get-in price to the Fever's said rivalry game dropped from $86 to $25. It's also worth noting these two road games were expected to be huge, so they were moved to bigger arenas. In fact, the NBA's largest arena in United Center. According to TickPick, the average purchase price for the 5 games until Caitlin is expected to return is down almost $60. The 5 remaining road games in June following Caitlin's expected return still have a get-in price that exceeds $100.
At present, the WNBA often feels more like a gladiator arena than a professional basketball league. While some fans might enjoy the chaos and physicality, the casual viewers, the ones the league needs most, are increasingly tuning out. They didn't come to watch wrestling, they came for genuine basketball. If the league continues to ignore player safety, fails to call games with fairness, and doesn't hold aggressive players accountable, those casual fans will keep walking away. Don't be surprised when attendance drops and ratings only spike around a single star like Caitlin Clark. Don't act shocked when viewers say, "I only watch for her." Right now, what's happening on the court isn't a game, it's a sideshow. Nobody pays premium prices to watch repeated train wrecks. To stay relevant and grow, the league must prioritize skill, sportsmanship, and integrity before it loses its audience for good. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.